Well, folks, listen, so most of you already know because it's all over the news cycle, but I'm going to give you the truth of this. Of course, Donald Trump was speaking at a town hall. That's what it was. I was trying to think of the word, a community forum, I think I called it, a town hall meeting last night. And one of the first people to stand up and ask a question was this guy, and he seemed nervous, maybe a little out of place, I don't know. But anyway, he started off by saying, in fact, instead of me telling you, let's just play it. Sean's going to cue this clip up. Here's what you're going to hear. I just pulled this clip off the internet. It's this guy, he's standing up. Now, the first few words he says, a little inaudible, but pretty soon you're going to be able to hear him. And he's going to say, you know, to Trump, tell us about this Muslim thing. And we know Obama's a Muslim, and we know he's not a citizen, so I want you to hear him say that. And then I think this particular recording came off the Kelly file. So you're going to hear her appeal to John McCain in 2008, how he handled it. And, of course, they're excoriating Donald Trump because he didn't call this guy down. He didn't dress him down. He didn't challenge, quote, he didn't, quote, correct what this man says. Now, I'm going to do an analysis of that. But first, I want you to hear exactly what was said at the town hall meeting last night.
Amen. Okay. We problem in this country. It's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificate,
This
man. But anyway, we have training camps growing where they want to kill us. Mm-hmm. That's my question. When can we get rid of
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
I refer you back to this moment with John McCain in 2008 when he was put in a similar position. Watch.
That's Megyn Kelly.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's not.
Do y'all remember this?
He's an Arab.
Arab.
Not. No,
ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Now let's do an analysis of that. John McCain. This. Don't even get me started. John McCain, this rhino, this wimp, this political weasel. Did I tell you how I really feel about him? John McCain. Do y'all remember that in 2008 when he dressed this woman down? She stands up and she's a grandma-looking woman, and she's terrified of Obama. She's been doing her research. She's probably read or heard about his book, Dreams of My Father. She understands his Islamic background, his affinity to all things Muslim. This is while he's running for office. He's not even president yet. McCain is holding a town hall meeting because he's running against Obama. And this woman says, you know, he's a, and she wanted to say Muslim, and I don't know if she was afraid to say it or she just couldn't remember the word, because all that was still brand new to America back then, pretty much brand new. And she said, he's an Arab. Well, John McCain, no ma'am. And if you could see the video, he literally snatches the microphone out of her hand. It was one of these handheld mics, and he had handed it to her so she could make the statement or ask the question. And she said, you know, I'm terrified of this guy. And when she said, I'm terrified, you can't see this because you're listening to radio, but on the video, he shakes his head in agreement and says, yes, I understand that. He said that to her. So he was saying, I understand. I'm terrified too, basically. But then she said, you know, he's an Arab. Well, John McCain, that weasel, that wimp, that politically correct, not even a Republican, you know, liberal, but has an R by his name. He snatches the microphone from her hand, literally snatched it and walked away, turned his back on her. No, ma'am. And she says, really? Am I wrong? No, ma'am. He's not. He's a decent. And then at first he said family man, but what he was trying to get to, a decent citizen. And he underscored that because, you see, people were already raising questions about his citizenship. Now, isn't it interesting? That same year, I wish I had an hour. That same year, McCain would be investigated by the Senate, by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama on the panel. They would investigate him for what? His citizenship. John McCain. They were wanting to check whether or not he was a natural-born citizen. Senate Resolution 511. Go check it out. Go read it. They determined he was a natural-born citizen because, number one, boom, He was born in America, actually on a military base in Panama Canal Zone, but that counted. And then number 2, boom, because, quote, both of his parents were American citizens at the time of his birth, end quote. Boom. You're in, John McCain. Well, what does that say about Barack Obama? On the only piece of paper he's ever presented to us, this fake birth certificate that's on the White House, it says his father is Barack Obama Sr., a citizen of Kenya. He never was a U.S. citizen. So even if Barack Obama was born on American soil, which I don't think he was, there's not a hospital in this nation that claims his birth. How odd is that? Not a single hospital. So even if he was, by the birth certificate on the White House website, he's not natural born by Senate Resolution 511, under which they investigated John McCain. So anyway, you heard the clip. So this happens, and this guy stands up and he says, you know, Obama's a Muslim. He's not even a citizen. And when he said that, you could hear Trump say, right. And then he turned to the audience and said, we need this question. Well, you're right. And Trump is the only candidate that's ever questioned Obama on all of this. But here's the deal. Christie, when interviewed by CNN, Christie said, I wouldn't have permitted that. I would correct that guy. I'd say that the president's a Christian, and he was born in this country. Then he said, those two things are self-evident. Christie has just blown any inkling of opportunity he had from getting my vote. I mean, he's done. He's toast. Self-evident that he's a Christian and a citizen? How do you arrive at that, Christie? He was raised in a Muslim country, raised under the Sunni tradition, went to Muslim schools, wrote the book Dreams of My Father, where he extols his Muslimhood. Soon as he becomes president, he goes on a Muslim apology tour of the United States, in Egypt, and Muslim countries. He has an affinity to all things Muslims. He's filled the White House with Muslim brotherhood. But it's self-evident that he's a Christian? Oh, I don't know that Barack Obama gets down on a prayer rug and prays to Mecca 5 times a day and reads a Quran. I don't know if he's all that, but he's certainly, the only Christian connection he has is Jeremiah Wright's radical left-wing, anti-Semitic, godless, using GD in the pulpit, a pastor. Can you imagine if I used the word GD in my pulpit or on this radio station? What you would think of me and the people that went to my church and allowed me to continue preaching? That's the only connection he has. Self-evident that he's a Christian, Christie? Are you an idiot? Self-evident that he's a citizen? How do you know? All of his documents are locked down. How do you know he's a citizen? There's not a hospital in this nation that claims he was born there. Christie is a complete buffoon. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about the Muslim clock boy who's headed to the White House because he's a picked-on widow Muslim in the United States. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be politically incorrect. I promise. Freedom Friday. Carl Gallups. We'll be right back.